Hi guys, so today I'm going to go over the solution to One Away. That's chapter 1, question 5 from Cracking the Coding Interview. So the question is, there are 3 types of edits that can be performed on strings: insert a character, remove a character, replace a character, and given 2 strings, we need to write a function to check if they are 1 or 0 edits away. So basically a maximum of 1 edit away. They've given us some examples, so these would output true and this would be false. I added my own here, and then I've also gone ahead and written out some test cases for us so that we know exactly what output should correspond to what input. Okay, so we should start off by identifying our input-output constraints and edge cases. So our input's going to be 2 strings. Our output is going to be either true or false, so a Boolean value. True if it's most 1 edit away, false otherwise. For our constraints, we should optimize, so, and then our edge cases, I'm going to say empty string. And also input the short string first versus the long string first. Alternate that. So I've already done that in the test cases here. Okay, so I'm writing the function in JAVASCRIPT ES6. So I will call our input S1 and S2. So those are our arguments. And then to start off, we should write some pseudocode. So to understand this question, we want to sort of understand what is happening if we insert, remove, or replace a character. So if we insert a character, then I'm going to say S1's current character should match S2's next character. This is if S2 is the longer string. Then if removed, then S1's next character should match S2's current character. And then if replaced, then S1's next character should match S2's next character. Great. Okay. So we have a maximum of 1 edit. So we'll have a variable that stores that. And then the first thing we want to check, if the difference in the lengths is greater than the max edit, then we want to return false. So if difference in lengths is greater than max edit, return false. Okay, so then we want to iterate through this string simultaneously. Iterate through strings at the same time, checking for differences. And the condition in our for loop should be until both strings have finished checking. So we'll probably need a max length variable. So store max length for the for loop condition. Okay. And then in each iteration, we're going to check for differences. If a difference is found, then we will decrement from the number of edits and check if our edits have dropped below 0, and if so, return false. If so, return false. We also want to then follow the part above here. So we'll implement that into the for loop. And then if everything passes and works fine, then we'll just return true. For loop is done. All has passed, return true. Great, okay. So now we can start coding this out. We're gonna have a variable called edit, and we'll set that to 1 because that is the number of edits we are allowed. Then we want a max length variable, so let max length equal to basically the maximum between the two. So we're going to do math.max and pass s1.length and s2.length. Oops. And then we want to also calculate the difference, equal to math.absolute value of s1.length minus s2.length. And we want the absolute value, obviously, because we don't know which one is longer and which one is shorter. So now if the difference in length is greater than the number of edits, we want to automatically return false. Okay, and otherwise we will go ahead and continue on to our for loop. So for let I equals 0, and so for here we're gonna have 2 indices, and in our for loop we can just do this. We can declare 2 right away. And because we want to continue iterating until the greater of the 2 strings have finished, then for our condition we'll say while I is still less than max length, or j is less than max length. We're not sure which one is which, so we're just going to say if either or is still true, that means we're not done yet. Then we're going to do I++ and j++. There we go. So now we'll let c1, which is the character in our string 1, equal to string 1 at I, and let c2 equal to our character and our second string at j. So I corresponds to the indices in string 1, and j corresponds to the indices in string 2. And it's just cleaner that way to write out the variables, to store them that way. So now we can check if c1 is not equal to c2, then we have detected a difference, so 1 edit. Then we want to subtract from the number of edits we are allowed, so we'll decrement edits. And then we also want to check, obviously. So here we are, we want to check if a difference is found, we decrement the edits, and check if the edits drop below 0. So if edits is less than 0, then return false. And that way we don't have to finish looping through if the edits are found right at the beginning. So every time we decrement edits, we want to check if it's still valid. So if not, then we'll continue. And here's where we want to start looking at insert, remove, and replace. So if there's a character inserted, then if s, that means our current character is going to be equal to s1's current character should match s2's next character. So it should match s2's next character, so j plus 1. And if that happens, then we will move j up, so now they are aligned. Else if, so this is inserted, else if, now we're going to do the case where it's removed. If removed, then s1's next character, so s1's next character, oops, is going to be equal to 2's current character, so that's C2. Okay, and if that happens, then we want to do I++. So now they are aligned again. If the case is the edit is replace, then what will happen is in the next iteration, they'll both be skipped over. And we've already recorded that it's an edit, so we don't have to do anything here. Okay, great. So that should take care of it, and then once we're done with the for loop, and we've passed and we haven't returned false yet, that means we can just return true because we didn't make any more edits than we're allowed. So now we can go ahead and test with our test cases and call our function. And you can see that all the test cases have passed. Great. So let's talk about time and space complexity. Time complexity, we only have one for loop, we're looping through it simultaneously, so it would be O of whichever string is larger. So that's still going to be linear. Space complexity, because we only have a few variables here, and the amount of space we need does not depend on the length of the string, then it's going to be constant. Great, and there we have it. I also want to discuss, real quick, this can also be written one more way, because inserted and removed, they're sort of the inverse of each other. We could actually just find out which one's the longer and shorter string at the beginning, and then that would remove the need for the second if. So what we would do here is we can just let long equal to s1.length is greater than s2.length. If that's true, then we'll store s1, otherwise store s2. And then same thing for short. Short is equal to if s1.length is less than or equal to s2, then store s1, otherwise store s2. So now we have a long and short. Then that way here we could actually get rid of our absolute value, and we can just say long minus short. There we go, and that's our difference there. Then here we can remove one of these, so probably remove this one, because this is assuming that the insert happens in string 2, and string 2 is the longer one. So we would take that out and just have our if, and instead of s1 it'll be long, and this will be short. Long, short. So that looks good. Return false. So then this is inserted or removed, and we don't need to change anything with replace. So save, and then we can test that, and we can see all of our test cases still pass. Okay, great. So that's it. If you guys have any questions, corrections, suggestions, or a better solution and that you want to share, please let me know, and thanks for watching. Okay, bye.